Welcome to the 216th commencement of Washington and Jefferson College. It's a real pleasure to welcome all of you here today. Thank you for traveling to this event as witnesses for the important transition these students will make today from being college students to college graduates. 4 years ago, many of us gathered on this same ground for the matriculation ceremony that marked the entrance of this class into W&J. At that ceremony, each student made the transition from high school student to college student. They signed the college mission statement and introduced themselves as new members of the W&J community. Today, we will complete the cycle, marking their transition from college students to college graduates. So in this ceremony, we will read their names as they leave the college and enter the larger world. 4 years ago, each student received a pin with the college seal, a pin that cannot be purchased but must be earned by them. Today, the students wear those pins on their commencement gowns. 4 years ago, you were different people than you are today. You have changed and you have grown. The pin that the class of 2015 wears is evidence of that growth, catalyzed by your association with Washington and Jefferson College, with its faculty and staff, with your classmates, and with the world of ideas that you encountered here. Please remember to wear these pins at alumni functions and homecoming and other special events in your lives, signaling your ongoing ties to the college. Joining me today on the platform are not only the honorary degree recipients, about whom you will hear more later, but also some of the officers and trustees of the college, including trustees Richard Clark, Patrick Carenti, Peggy Northrup, and Mike Pratt. Also participating in the ceremony today are the faculty and staff of Washington and Jefferson College, those individuals who toiled long hours to ensure that W&J students are well-fed, well-housed, safe, and above all, well-educated. These individuals are dedicated to the college and to the students. They are losing 295 members of their extended family today. Would the faculty and staff of the college please rise and be recognized? Today, we also mark transitions within the faculty and staff as we welcome 3 faculty to permanent relationship with the college. Yesterday, the Board of Trustees conferred tenured status upon Dr. Amparo Alpañez of the Spanish Department, Dr. Robert Dunn of the Economics Department, and Dr. Anu Shanmunagathan of the Biology Department. This commencement also marks the official retirement of 4 faculty, although we hope that they will continue to teach here on a part-time basis. Dr. Joel Cannon, Dr. James Gormley, Dr. John Greger, and Dr. Susan Woodard. Thank you for your 95 combined years of service to W&J. And finally, I would ask for a moment of silence to recognize 2 faculty members who passed away during this academic year, Reed Day in education and Michael Pedersen in physics. Both were energetic professors who loved teaching and made a long-lasting impression on all those students fortunate enough to study with them. A moment of silence to remember these remarkable 2 men, please. Thank you. Now, at this ceremony, we are also joined by the members of the class of 1965, who are celebrating their 50th college reunion today. It's been a tradition at the college for many generations to induct this 50th reunion class into what used to be called the Old Guard, composed of all men, for it was only men at the time, who graduated from Washington and Jefferson College 50 or more years ago. Last year, we began a transition from the name Old Guard to the name Presidential Guard, a more fitting title, we feel, for the vibrant individuals who are about to join this group. Gentlemen, in recognition of the 50th anniversary of your commencement, I am honored to welcome you home to Washington and Jefferson College. Since you graduated from W&J, you all have gone on to achieve great things in your lives and your careers. Your success is a testament to our college's national reputation for excellence and an inspiring example for today's graduates to follow. You began your college experience under the presidency of John F. Kennedy, and in your freshman year, you watched as the Cuban Missile Crisis unfolded, terrifying this country. As a result, trade relations and casual travel between Cuba and the United States were officially embargoed. 50 years later, today's graduating class has seen diplomatic relations between Cuba and the U.S. fully restored, and this summer, they could even travel to Cuba as tourists. During your college years, you and other Americans worried about the growing threat of communism in Southeast Asia. This year's graduates face similar concerns regarding terrorism as ISIS continues to gain ground in the Middle East. For you and for the class of 2015, you are seeing the rules of war change. You saw the emergence of guerrilla warfare in Vietnam, while this year's graduates are experiencing the horror of public beheadings and mass executions of civilians. You witnessed the beginning of the space race, and you saw the first very grainy pictures of the planet Mars relayed by Mariner 4. As the class of 2015 began their freshman year, the Mars rover Curiosity actually landed on the red planet and explored it close up. In your junior year, Martin Luther King Jr. led the March on Washington and delivered his I Have a Dream speech on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, calling for an end to racism in the United States. But despite the best efforts of countless individuals to make Martin Luther King's dream real, this year's graduates watched as marches once again swept the country, calling for justice and an end to racial prejudice. To escape the war and the racial tension in the country, you may have been among the first to view the film Mary Poppins. I'm sure it was a great hit in the class. Or to scare yourself silly, more likely, watching the new thriller from Alfred Hitchcock, The Birds, which is now the subject of study in one of our courses. While you were in college, the first picture phone, or see as you talk, telephone call was made between First Lady Lady Bird Johnson and Dr. Elizabeth Wood of Bell Labs. Of course, today's students can use their smartphones to have video conversations through apps like FaceTime around the globe, anytime, anywhere. But some things don't seem to change. The Rolling Stones formed during your freshman year. And by graduation, they had released their hit, I Can't Get No Satisfaction. Their music has thrived much longer than the vinyl records on which it was originally played. And 50 years later, the group continues to tour. In fact, they will play Heinz Field in Pittsburgh this summer. I wish for you and your class the same dedication to one another that has been displayed by the Rolling Stones. In the years ahead, I hope that the relationships you have formed with one another and with the college will continue to play a valuable role in each of your lives. As the newest members of the Presidential Guard of Washington and Jefferson College, you are our most devoted supporters, our strongest advocates, and the keeper of our most venerable traditions. Thank you again for your contributions and your loyalty to W&J. We honor your legacy. For those of you who don't know what just happened, That was a fabulous, thank you very much, a fabulous rendition of Witchy Quacks, which is the college yell that dates from 1891. So thank you for giving us the college yell. You'll hear it again after the alma mater at the conclusion of the ceremony. Now, 200 years ago, or more, when commencements were being held on this site, the faculty and staff would listen to orations from every single graduate. By 1878, this marathon of student speakers went on for 4 full days. Not surprisingly, this lengthy event was considered a bit monotonous, largely because students, they varied a good deal in the amount of work they had put into their speeches. And so eventually, selected speakers like today's Valerie Dunlap were chosen to keep the length of the ceremony reasonable. So you see, Valerie, you have a big burden on your shoulders. You speak for the entire class. The senior address today is being offered by Valerie Dunlap, an economics and German major from Hofstetter, PA. While at Washington and Jefferson, Valerie was a Student Government Association class representative, a resident assistant, a PAL tutor for German, recipient of the Franklin Internship Award, and a member of Pi Gamma Mu, Delta Phi Alpha, Omicron Delta Epsilon, Alpha Lambda Delta, and Phi Beta Kappa academic honorary societies. Additionally, Valerie was a student athlete and made significant contributions to the women's basketball team. She has scored over 1,000 points and holds the school record for blocked shots in a season and in a career. She was also the first women's basketball academic All-American at W&J and received just recently one of 13 NCAA Women's Enhancement Scholarships for her graduate study. In only a few short weeks, she will begin graduate school at Ohio University in their dual degree program for a Master's of Business Administration and a Master's of Sports Administration. The bonds forged among professors, coaches, and peers in our close W&J community have inspired Valerie to pursue a career as an athletic director in a Division III school. Valerie Dunlap.